So, at the start of the pandemic, I let my brother stay with me. You won't believe this. I went to work one day, came back, all my locks were changed, and my windows were boarded up. Yep, my brother's trying to kick me out of my own home. Hi there. Really weird one here. But to cut a long story short, my brother moved in with me at the start of lockdown because he was living in hotels for some reason. I recently found out this was because he owes around 250,000 euros in debts to multitudes of small businesses for various reasons. A lot of these cases have gone to high court, and he's being actively pursued by bailiff. When he moved in, he was relatively normal, but vague about why he was living in hotels. Then, as lockdown went on, he started to get more and more obsessed with these freemen on the land common law types, which has led to some major disputes, like saying he doesn't have to wear a mask because he's not a subject of the crown, but the Cromwellian Lord Protectorship, and trying to annex land from the fields behind our house, because apparently you can claim land by throwing a hatchet at four corners. Well, recently, the bailiffs somehow caught wind that he was with me, and they were pretty nice lads, explained everything to me, but after he said he would not pay, even if he had all the money in cash, they took his car. Ever since this, my brother has been furious with me, so we started avoiding each other around the house. This weekend, I went for a mini break on the coast, and came back to find all the locks have been changed and my windows were boarded up. Garden furniture is nowhere to be seen. I called my brother, who basically explained, as the house was unclaimed, he made a de facto eviction of me from the house, making him sole owner. And if I attempted to make entry, he'd had every right to kill me, under the provision that an Englishman's home is his castle. I'm staying with my parents, which isn't ideal, as they should be shielding. And I went on the mini break, but when I contacted the police, I was told as a tenant, he has every right to change the locks. I'm confused. Any help here is much appreciated. Update number 1. Hello everyone, for those of you who have been following my little saga, got some great news. Back in the house and otherwise everything's still here. Spent the whole day making sure and nothing's been trashed, but there's tons of domino boxes in the kitchen. Apparently, he contacted the bank trying to access my account and spunked any money he had left on pizza in celebration, so now he's both homeless and poor. So, spoke with my dad's solicitor, and he basically picked apart literally every bit of this common law bullcrap, and we called the police. Again, got stonewalled with a quote, tenants can change the locks, you need an eviction order. Solicitor explained the situation about how he was a guest and evicted me. Response back was literally, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. You need to take this up with the housing authority because it's a civil matter, not a criminal one. Well, solicitor basically said police are not going to help us, so we can either go for a court order or try to get bailiffs now. Went for the second as I need him out ASAP, and they said this would be very easy. So, bailiffs turn up with a locksmith. I don't exactly know what happened as me and the solicitor were waiting around the corner, but I do know the police were called, and he got carted away. I assume that'd be the end of it, but he's been contacting my parents, saying he's the rightful owner of the house now, and that, quote, he just needed some time to get back on his feet. Well, they've basically disowned him as of this, so it looks like he's kind of ducked himself. And I assume the police let him back on the street, so going to have to be wary, but I just hope he sods off. Honestly, huge thanks to everyone in your kind words. You've all been so amazingly helpful, and what was quite possibly the scariest time of my life has now turned into a funny story I could tell my future kids. Anyways, thanks again. The craziest part about this entire story was the fact that OP decided to bring his brother in, feed him, and do everything for him during the pandemic. What does OP get? Stabbed in the back, threatened to be killed by his own brother. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would have done. Call the police immediately, tell your parents, or just go nuclear. Let me know your thoughts on that, and we're going to turn our attention to the final story of the day that comes complete with an update. One of my best friends is supposed to move in with me in October. She's now gotten pregnant and wants us to raise the baby together. So yeah, I've rented a room in a great 4-bedroom apartment for the past year. And since my 2 roommates both are moving out in August, I've been offered to rent the whole apartment, which is a great opportunity. And I've already asked my 2 best friends if they wanted to sublet the other 2 rooms and move in with me, which they were both very excited to do. My 2 current roommates aren't moved out yet. No lease has been signed either on my part nor my 2 friends' part, so it's still in the hypothetical phase. I've been transparent to my friends that it might fall through, as my landlord might change his mind and just let me continue to rent 1 room, and not let anyone else move in, as the building's going to be renovated once all renters are moved out. My one friend, Indy, has an apartment of her own that she's comfortable in, so she's not depending on this to go through, even though my apartment is definitely better located and more spacious. My other friend, Layla, still lives at home where she isn't a rush to move out either, so none of my friends would end up with nowhere to stay should this fall through. Layla's very excited. I've been excited with her, talking about how we have a bit of money saved that could go towards improving the apartment. And it's been great to have someone to dream with the past month. Now, things took a turn on Wednesday. On Wednesday, Layla found out she's pregnant. She got Tinder about 2 months ago and has been having some fun, meeting new people and dating, which is completely new territory for her. And so, there are more than one option for a father, all of whom she is not interested in involving. She's over the moon of this news, and wants to keep the baby and raise it as a single mother. I personally think this is a terrible idea. She's only 21, she's not in university yet, only has a part-time job of 4 hours a week, and has a long history of depression and anxiety disorders. Possibly borderline personality disorder, or something like it. She's in treatment to find the right diagnosis. Has never lived out of her parents' home or taken care of herself at all. It's her decision, not mine though, and I'll of course be there for her as I've known her for over 15 years. I love her. She hasn't told her parents yet because they would flip out, and she would like to be moved out before she does tell them. She wants to move into the apartment still and raise the baby there with my friend and I. We met up Friday, and she laid out this plan on how she could work until she knew what she wanted to do in terms of university, and my friends and I could babysit together, arranging it after our classes. She said we could each put our savings towards the baby, as, quote, we essentially would all be parents. I'm just not okay with this at all. I feel like university is stressful. I don't have enough time as it is for my assignments, without having to care for a kid in my spare time. I'm 22. I also like doing 22-year-old things, like having friends over for a drink on a Friday, sleeping in on Sundays, having dates over and all that jazz. And having an infant in the apartment is just not something I see working out with my lifestyle. It's her choice to keep the baby, but I don't think it's right to force my friend and I to be co-parents with her. I think she has this romantic view of what it's like to care for a small child, especially as a single young mother with very little means, and even though I do love her, I'm not willing to sacrifice that amount of time and money on her decision to become a parent unexpectedly. She's only 6 weeks along, so it's not an immediate problem, but I feel like I can't let her move in now. Indy doesn't know yet, but I'm thinking she'll have the same feeling as me about the situation. Layla has told a few of her friends I'm not very close with about her plans, as if it's a definite thing going to happen. And they're very excited for her and kind of hyping her up and further painting an ideal picture of how she's going to raise the kid in the apartment. I just have no idea what to do right now. I don't know how I'm supposed to tell her that this is not going to work for me. She can't move in here with a baby. I did not directly tell her I think it's insane for her to have a baby right now, as this must be tough and scary time for her. I did not want to upset her too much. I did tell her I have concerns with how it would work, but she always phased at all. Should I tell her parents? Her mom is very sweet and kind person who's always helped her, but her dad, a different story. I don't know how he would react. I've considered talking to Indy about it and maybe figure out a way for us to tell her together. Or something, but yeah. Any advice or comments are appreciative. Drop them in the comment section below. Alright, everyone who wants the update, here it is. For a quick recap, I'm possibly going to rent the entire 4-bedroom apartment I currently sublet a room in sometime around October, and 2 of my best friends are moving in. My friend Layla has gotten pregnant, and we're planning to move in with me and have 3 of us taking care of the baby, as physically and financially. I took the advice someone gave to talk to my other future roommate, Indy, about it all. We both agreed that it was not something we wanted to do, and we decided to confront her about it together so she could understand it's not going to happen. We got together at my place on Tuesday and had some tea. We just sat down and said that basically we were very worried about her and the scenario that she has in her head about us raising the baby together is just completely irresponsible and we don't want that at all. We decided not to lay out the whole thing about her mental health, job situation, and all that because, well, we did not want it to feel like an attack on her, but more just us setting some boundaries. She got really emotional and told us that she knew it was ridiculous, but she was scared and in shock, and really did not know how to react or think straight. Apparently, it wasn't even her idea to begin with, but some of her other friends we don't even know very well came up with it, and sort of pressured her to feel a certain way, because, well, they're extremely excited for her. She just said that she's been crying every day since she found out. She's so scared for the future, and really just wants everything to go back to normal. At that point, we just said that we totally understand and we of course will be there for her, no matter what she decides to do. But we really also felt that it would be a lot for her to be a mom under these circumstances. So yeah, she decided to get an abortion. It's the best thing for her. She said her initial reaction was to terminate the pregnancy, but she had a lot of guilt associated with that, as she's been brought up in a very conservative family. I'd rather not hear anything about the morals of the decision, as I don't think that would really be helpful to the conversation. We told her that we would be with her every step of the way if she needs it. And so we both went with her to the doctor on Thursday to confirm she was pregnant and to find out the options. Since she's only 6 weeks pregnant, she could get some pills to take over a 48-hour period, and that would make the embryo detach. She got the first one at the hospital on Friday, where we were there with her too. And then they both stayed over at my place the whole weekend for the rest of it, since her parents still don't know and she doesn't want to tell them. My roommate is conveniently on holiday with some of her friends for the rest of the week, so we had the whole place to ourselves and nothing to explain to anyone. She took the other pill yesterday and everything seems to be going smoothly. She just has a heavy period basically, which coincidentally lined up with both Indy's and mine. Too much info? Sorry. So we've all been laying in my bed with heating pads and Netflix being miserable together. But things are going well, and the pain has not been too much for just regular painkillers. There's been some crying, lots of hugs and long talks, and walks in the forest, and I feel like things are going to be okay. They're both staying here until my roommate gets back so she can go through this in a comfy environment without having to pretend nothing's wrong. So yeah, it seems like the plan of moving in together is back on as planned, and everything will be okay. Layla was offered some counseling at the hospital about getting through an abortion, and the feelings about it, which she's starting sometime next week. Thank you so much for the people who gave me advice when I needed it. This outcome's better than I could have imagined, and I wouldn't have thought of doing this if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you so much for your comments. So all I want to know from you guys about this story, do you think OP made the right decision? I want to know your thoughts on this whole ordeal, so drop it in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please subscribe to the channel as Mr. Reddito drops videos every single day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. The latest Mr. Reddito producer, Christine Billings. Thank you so much for the support.